Alright, this video is pretty much for like my students out there, all my students that I train directly and my students that I train online. Just want to mention that in order to reach greatness in the martial arts, or almost in any discipline, you need to be able to fall in love with the basics of training, and you have to just continue to do the basics over and over again until you come close to perfection. You're never going to perfect it, and you'll never master it, but you gotta just keep trying and just keep doing it. You know, that's the only way that you're gonna reach to a high level in your training. In part, this video was inspired by one of the online students that just recently joined. He's a younger person. I could tell he's very motivated to train. He's been following me for a while, and he's trained in a lot of different disciplines. One of the disciplines that he trained in was wushu, and so he has some experience in other schools. So when he joined my online training, I sent him the first 3 lessons, and then like within like 10 minutes he emails me back and says, "Oh, I already trained in these things in my other school. I'm ready for the next lessons." And one of the main lessons that I was showing was the horse stance. And then he was like saying that he got it already, and I'm like, well, I wanted to think about it. I'm like, this is not what I want. I don't want people just collecting my videos and, okay, I watched this video, I got it. Watch another video, I got it. Watch this video, I got it. Like, I think a lot of people are like that when especially with the internet nowadays. They just want to watch a bunch of videos and be like, I got it, I got it. But it's not like that. That's not what real hard work's about. It's not just watching something and just thinking that just because you watched it, all of a sudden you mastered it. So that's one of the things that I don't want to happen in my online training. And I was gonna figure out, well, how am I gonna prevent this? So I'm like, okay, you know, first of all, the people that I train directly, they don't even have it. None of them do. And I don't feel that anybody could have it when it comes to perfecting anything. So no matter if it's a punch, a kick, a horse stance, a pull up, a push up, a bench press, like you can never just be like, oh, I got it. It's like I kept telling my students, it's like it's like a person that makes one shot on the court, basketball court, and it says, okay, I got it. I don't gotta shoot anymore. It doesn't work that way. You gotta shoot thousands and thousands of times. And even after you shoot thousands of times, you're still not gonna master it. As for myself, I do about 100 push-ups a day, you know, and that's about 700 push-ups in a week. That's 1,400 push-ups in 2 weeks. That's 2,800 push-ups in a month. That's about 3,000 push-ups every month. In a year, that's 30,000 push-ups. 35,000 push-ups every year. And I've been training physically for over 25 years. So if you're talking about 30,000 times 25, you're talking about thousands of push-ups I've been doing, and sit-ups, and bench press, punching, kicking. I mean, thousands of squats. Like, you have to be able to get used to doing the same thing over and over again. If you can't do that, then there's no way you're gonna reach greatness in anything that you do. So this person, the online student, I told him, I said, look, send me a video of you holding the horse stance with the form that I want for 5 minutes straight. And if you could do that, then I'll send you the next videos. So he sends me the video right away, but he wasn't holding the form that I was looking for. He is too high up on his stance, and I'm like, you gotta get lower. And I basically just sent him a picture of me holding the horse stance according to the way that I wanted him to. Then he next day sends me another video, goes a little bit lower, but still not the form that I'm looking for, and then he held it for about 2.5 minutes. And then finally, just right now, I replied, I was like, look, you still got to go lower. It's better than before, but you still got to go lower. And then now, finally, he sends me a video of him holding the horse stance the way that you're supposed to hold it. And he held it for about 1.5 minutes. So he came from 5 minutes down to 1.5 minutes. And that's what I'm talking about. You need to increase, better your form in everything that you do when it comes to combat, when it comes to fitness. And there's always a challenge. If you could hypothetically, if you could hold a horse stance for 5 minutes, then go ahead and try to do it for 10. Um, it's gonna take a lot of work, to get good in the training. You gotta get used to the basics in everything that you do. Punching and kicking, a lot of fitness, a lot of stretching for hours and hours and hours to get those middle splits. Kicking over and over and over again to get that technique and speed. Punching over and over again to get that technique and speed. Doing a bunch of calisthenics and weight training to get that strength. And that's the only way. And people need to understand that this school is not about just teaching you, showing you thousands of techniques and just be like, oh, showing you something different, all the time, so then you don't get bored. That's not what it's about. It's about just having that discipline to pretty much do the same thing over and over and over again until you master the basics, or come close to mastering the basics. And this is the part of my teaching that goes along with Bruce Lee's statement that he's in more fear of the person who practices, one technique 10,000 times than to practice 10,000 techniques. This goes along with that. Like, in order to be a great runner, you can't get bored of running. In order to get great in basketball, you can't get bored of shooting the basketball. When it comes to martial arts, you gotta punch, you gotta kick, you gotta do thousands of squats, thousands of push-ups, thousands of sit-ups, thousands of pull-ups, like stretching over and over again for thousands of hours. I mean, you gotta put in the time. So for everybody out there that train with me, this school is not about just teaching you a bunch of techniques, to show off. It's about perfecting the art, and there's going to be certain foundational exercises, foundational techniques that you will have to master in order to reach a high level. And this will incorporate doing something over and over again, and just getting through that feeling of, oh, I always got to do something different. I think that's for the weak-minded people. That's for the people that are weak in meditation. Like, they always need to do something new. And it's just like, how many different ways could you punch? How many different ways can you kick? You're going to come to a point where it's like, it's not about doing something new. It's about practicing, like, the basics over and over again until you can almost perfect it. So that's a very important lesson to remember. you know, it's foundational to the martial arts. Like the key to to meeting somebody who's at a high level, it's got to be somebody who just doesn't get bored. He could just basically sit and do absolutely nothing every single day, and he's fine with it. And what's even more boring than that? What could possibly be more boring than just sitting and doing absolutely nothing every single day? And that is what sitting meditation is. And if you can master meditation, then you will, you can you can for sure become a master of the martial arts. Because what can be possibly more boring than sitting meditation, just sitting doing absolutely nothing? So a person in martial arts, he can literally just do the same punch over and over and over again, and there's no such thing as boredom. The same exercise over and over again, and there's no such thing as boredom. And next thing you know, this person has evolved so much by putting in all those hours of training. And that's what it's about.